At 13, he learned how quickly a sentence could end a life he thought was permanent. It wasn't dramatic. No shouting. His parents sat across from him at the dining table, hands folded, voices rehearsed. They said they couldn't handle him anymore, that it was for the best, that his uncle, his father's older brother, had agreed to take him in. The word disowned wasn't used, but it hovered in the room like smoke. He packed a suitcase with what fit. No one asked if he was scared. His uncle's house was large in the way money often is, quiet, orderly, expensive without being loud about it. The first night his uncle showed him where the towels were, where breakfast would be, and what time school started. No hugs, no speeches, just a spare bedroom and a list of expectations taped neatly to the desk. For a while, the boy mistook this for indifference. But the weeks passed, and nothing changed. Dinner appeared at the same time every night. Report cards were reviewed without yelling. When he missed curfew, there were consequences, but also explanations. When he did well, there was no fanfare, just a nod and an increase in responsibility. Stability, he learned, could feel cold if you were used to chaos. Years accumulated the way they do when no one is threatening to disappear. Middle school turned into high school. His uncle attended events quietly, always in the back row. When the boy was accepted into college, his uncle paid the tuition without comment, then asked what he planned to study and why. They never talked about his parents unless necessary. Birthday cards arrived some years, not others. Phone calls were brief and awkward. His parents spoke to him like someone they were no longer responsible for but still felt entitled to monitor. By his mid-20s, he had stopped expecting anything from them. The guilt took longer to fade, the sense that thriving was a betrayal. But even that dulled with time. When his uncle became ill, there was no panic. Just appointments, schedules, adjustments. The uncle explained things clearly. Medical directives, contacts, paperwork. The young man listened, asked questions, took notes. When the house finally went quiet for good, the grief was contained and exhausting. He handled arrangements because that was what needed to be done. He slept poorly but functioned. The will reading was scheduled for a Tuesday morning. He arrived early, sat straight, hands folded the way he'd learned as a child. When his parents walked in together for once, he felt the old tightening in his chest, sharp but brief. His mother looked around the room with a familiarity she hadn't earned. She dabbed her eyes with a tissue. She spoke in a low voice about how sad it was, how family was everything in times like this. He said nothing. The lawyer cleared his throat and began with formalities. Names, dates, legal language stripped of emotion. His mother leaned forward slightly when assets were mentioned, her posture attentive in a way it hadn't been in 15 years. She smiled at him once, thinly, like they shared something. When the lawyer paused to move to the next section, his mother interrupted. "Well," she said, almost lightly, "I assume this part is straightforward." The room stilled. The lawyer glanced at his papers, then at the young man, uncertainty flickering across his face. Before the lawyer could speak, the young man did. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," he said. His voice was even, not loud enough to command attention, but steady enough that it did anyway. "I've been listed as executor for some time." His mother turned toward him, brows knitting. "Executor," she repeated. "No, I mean the inheritance." The lawyer shifted in his seat. "The inheritance," the young man continued, "was structured over many years. My uncle made his intentions clear." His father frowned. "Intentions." The lawyer exhaled slowly, then adjusted his glasses. "Perhaps I should clarify," he said, his tone now distinctly procedural. "The estate was revised after extended consultation. The primary beneficiary is," he looked directly at the young man, "you." Silence landed heavily. His mother laughed once sharply. "That's not possible." The lawyer didn't respond to her. He continued reading. Assets, trusts, properties, responsibilities, conditions, everything accounted for with meticulous care. When it was over, the lawyer folded the document and looked up. "Your uncle was very specific," he said. "He also included letters. I can provide copies." His mother stood abruptly. "This isn't right," she said. "We're his family." The young man met her gaze. "I was 13 when you decided I wasn't," he said. Not angrily, not accusingly. Just as a fact that had been true for a long time. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her face flushed. We did what we had to do. So did he, the lawyer said quietly. That was the moment the power shifted, not with raised voices or confrontation, but with authority. Legal, documented, unmovable. They left shortly after. There was no apology, no resolution. Just the scrape of chairs and the sound of the door closing behind them. Later, alone in the uncle's house, the young man sat at the desk where the list of expectations had once been taped. The paper was long gone, but he remembered it clearly. Be on time, do the work, tell the truth, take responsibility. He felt no triumph. Just a strange alignment, like something that had always been slightly off had finally settled into place. Chosen family, he understood now, didn't always come with warmth. Sometimes it came with structure, consistency, and the quiet decision to stay. And sometimes that was everything.